Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the EPL Season 3. I am Brackish Brick for my first time on the broadcast, so happy to be here alongside one of the most veteran hands, of course, in Rev. That way, camera mirroring sucks, man. How are we doing? Losers finals time.
Oh, we're doing fantastic. We're getting close to the end of the tournament, and everything's getting as hype as it can be. Tenacity versus Back2TheGame. Everyone may be expected to be the final, but it's not going to be the final. They're going to be meeting in the losers finals. One of them will go back home almost empty-handed, only bronze medal in their hands. And usually it has been Back2TheGame. You know, they've been more often than not the losers in this situation. I think it's going to be kind of the same, honestly. Not a lot of hope after them getting beaten 5 out of 6 times.
Well, six times the charm, I suppose. I mean, did we really expect Zero Tenacity to be here before the series that we saw yesterday? I think everyone, or a majority of people, had them down as pretty solid favourites until Big showed up and knocked them down here. We are getting through draft pretty quickly. Some pretty fair bans coming through from Back2TheGame here. Harpoon is pretty crazy on both the Ash and the MF. Yeah. And, of course, Blue Resort. 6 games on Jarvan, 9 KDA. That's, stats that you gotta keep notice of.
Of course, Harpoon give him anything that can pressure the lane. He's gonna be an absolute monster, and Blue Resort as well. He likes getting aggressive earlier in the game, getting in the face of the enemy jungler. And there's a Yone instantly picked up. We were talking about it yesterday. It was banned 3 games out of 3 by the side of Zero Tenacity, and there was a question, why are you banning it when Kofte is an absolute beast on that champion? Now, on the red side, I enjoy an early Yone pickup a lot because you can also flex it towards the top side. Melanic has been playing his fair share of carries as well, and if you see an early something like the Cassante or the Old, you can just slam in the top side.
Absolutely, you can. Meanwhile, Erdo continues his play of going for the same 2 champions all season.
I mean,
it's Rel and it's Nautilus. Back2TheGame take the Rel away, so
if it can engage, it's not our Dodge champion pool. Okay, that's what I've realized.
Leona, what about the other engage tanks? He has played just these 2 champions. This will be his 6th game of Nautilus.
Yeah, but you know, Leona, you have like your skill shot is way thinner. Like, think about the Nautilus. You have a point-and-click ultimate. Your Q has a hitbox as big as, I don't know...
Has a hitbox, yes. One of the hitboxes of all time, certainly.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, though...
Yeah?
So, the Hui, nice pickup to see for Shiv here. I believe that's how you pronounce it. All Polish team, of course, Back2TheGame. 7 games on Hui, 5 and 2. Looking very, very nice on that. If we were to assume that Kofta is the one playing the Yone here, obviously, he's going to have not the most fun of time in the very early lane, but Hui does struggle as it goes later with people that are very capable of getting into his face, and Yone, that's a champion that can do that in spades.
Yeah, now we see the Jinx locked in, which is actually very interesting for me. I actually thought that we were playing on 14.8 engine, you know, the world patch, and I was corrected earlier today. And I was like, okay, that's why we don't see any Jinx, because the Jinx has been buffed on 14.8, and she's been getting that, you know, attack speed growth buff by 0.4 percentage per level, which is quite kinda huge, and is allowing her to build into the lethality build without having any issues with her attack speed. Now, she'll have to build mostly nerfed items. I don't think that Jinx can be played with the Blade. I think that Jinx needs either the Kraken Slayer or the Static Shift. Both have been slightly nerfed.
There's also the weird lethality build that some people have been pulling out on Jinx. I don't know if this is the sort of situation where we would see it. So far, we're seeing a fairly squishy comp coming out from Back2TheGame.
I mean, you know what? I've come to love the lethality build, but I've come to love it in the life patch, you know, the 14.8, just because you got that extra almost 0.5 percentage attack speed growth. Jinx really needs that attack speed, especially when she turns into her rockets. She gets the attack speed gutted. So if you're gonna come into a team fight and just spew out 2 auto attacks in a W in the hopes of you getting a reset, I don't think you're really a champion, especially in competitive. But if you're getting that extra attack speed, getting to that level 10, that's 5% that's extra. With the Berserker Grips, you already are in a good enough spot to actually be in team fights. But before that, I think you kind of need to rely on some attacks per item. Maybe we're gonna see the more of a flat AD build, you know, the Infinity Edge into something like the Phantom Dancer, because I don't see the Hurricane being relative in this game at all. There's so much range from Back to the Game, it's gonna be a non-factor.
Plenty of it, yeah.
So yeah, but there's a brand. One more pick that's been nerfed, but you are kind of flexing the AD mid laner, so you need to look towards those AP junglers.
Yeah, Blue Resort, obviously, we know him to be a very aggressive jungler most of the time. People, I think, might actually undervalue, even after all the nerfs. Brand can be pretty nutty if he finds a good invade situation. If you're able to get a Blaze passive going, if you're able to get the 3 stacks, then he pretty much outtrades everybody. Especially when we're looking onto the other side, Shazq has had to go. I mean, he's been on tank duty for a large portion of the split. It's been the Sejuani, it's been the Maokai. We'll see that yet another time, but it does provide some very nice frontline. It does provide something that shouldn't die too quickly in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, Brand is still pretty good, but I don't think he's B1able right now. There are some answers.
Yeah, it's not crazy dominant.
Yeah,
but it's still good.
There's a lot of bans coming out. You already know the enemy support. It's not a Leona. You see the Sejuani out. You see the Vi being removed. So it's pretty good indeed. Now with the Renekton being looked in top side, I don't think you can flex the Yone anymore, but Cassante is always an easy pick. You will be struggling up until level 6, but if at any moment the enemy team tries to dive you and overstep by a little bit, we've all seen those Cassante moments happen time and time again.
Yes, but also, Melonic has 3 losses, all split. 2 of them are his 2 games on Cassante.
Well,
the champion is still, obviously, it's still Cassante.
Yeah.
He can still do very crazy things. But Cozy's going to have a pretty, cozy matchup in the top lane through the early stages. I do think Melonix can be able to do good work in making it hard for him to find true value in team fights. Obviously, you're trying to slice and dice onto the back line, trying to find a stun on an important target. And if Melonic can simply go, Pathmaker, no, then you're probably just chilling. And obviously, he's not needed to be a major damage threat this game. We've got plenty of damage elsewhere. We've got the Yone, we've got the Jinx, we've got the Brand.
Yeah, I think you need to be like kind of sort of a space creator for your team. Maybe even, you can go into the enemy backline and try to force the Jhin out of situations. You can do the same for Hui. It's very, the Cassandra flank is very, very nice to have versus immobile targets, and that's what you have in Back to the Game. So you do have those play factors. Now, I hadn't considered the fact that 2 of his losses was both of his Cassandra games, and I know that Melonic is a player who likes having fun on the Rift. Cassandra nowadays, I think he became one of the most boring champions, not because his design is boring or something like that, but because he's simply overused, and sometimes you need some freshness in League of Legends.
Changes. I can't remember if they would have hit live yet.
No.
They're really trying to reshuffle him. That's next split.
Yes.
I'm interested to see what pro players do with this modified version. Obviously, they're really trying to change altered form into a tanky skirmisher rather than an out-and-out, I'm going to burst you from full health.
Yeah, I mean, the damage numbers have been going down, but he's getting back his slows. It's gonna be interesting, but there's a part of me that looks at it, sighs heavily, and is like, it's gonna be Rise too, isn't it?
I mean, potentially. We've already seen a lot of reworks. I mean, speaking of, obviously, not on this patch, although we have seen some of the Rise, especially on 14-18. Keep your eyes out for Worlds. Rise has very much been making a comeback, and that's something that's pretty hyped to see.
Did you just say keep your eyes out?
That I did.
Nice.
As we head on to the Rift for our first game of the day. Losers Finals. Zero Tenacity. They got pushed down here by Big yesterday. They are obviously going to want to get themselves some revenge. If they want to get it, however, Rev, they've got to get through Back to the Game. They have fought their way through the lower bracket, and there's something to be said for that. They have played a whole bunch more games.
Yeah, that's
See,
true.
though.
I mean,
Has the lower bracket buff come into effect? Are we looking at, like, being honest, as the, one of the mainstays of EPL, or EPL, sorry.
I mean,
What are you looking at percentage-wise? Just on paper, just holistically, what would you say their chances are percentage-wise?
okay, I'm gonna sound like a huge negative Nancy, a huge hater, but I'm gonna say they have a 25% to win. Okay.
You gotta be realistic though. Like this is Zero Tenacity.
Yes.
Blurazor, Malonek, Kofta, these are names that we know. And I mean, that's not to say anything about Back to the Game. They have done very well to be here.
Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, Zero Dynasty
Yes.
are a huge organization in the stable of these local countries, the Ultraliga, the GLL, the ESLO, all of those minor region. It's a huge organization. These names are giants in comparison to the rest of them. However, the only negative thing that they have is that they always choke in the international. That's why maybe they choked in a best of 3 versus Big. They're playing versus a major ERL team, even though they couldn't make it into the EMEA Masters. They're still a major ERL team, so some mental block goes into effect over there. Now, speaking about mental blocks, Back to the Game has a huge one versus Zero Dynasty. They have beat them in the last 2 split once, and that was in the Juggernaut game in the playoffs, and then they got obliterated in the finals 3-0. That was actually a fantastic performance by Zero Dynasty as well, but you can see a mental block being developed. There's another G2 Fnatic situation, and here I don't think that the lower bracket buff really will come into effect, especially considering how Zero Dynasty played their games. They played all of their regular season games in 4-5 days, then they chilled. They had nothing to do, they sit back, they had some holidays, they were looking at the enemy teams playing it out, figuring out the meta, and learning from them, and they came into the playoffs quite strong. Yesterday was their first loss, and it was also by a thread, versus Big. They stomped them in game 1 before losing. And I feel that they're still pretty stronger, especially on paper, compared to Back to the Game.
And on top of that, we're going to talk about the way in which Back to the Game often plays, right? A lot of their losses, and I mean a lot of their wins too, they do start out at a disadvantage. They do start out falling behind, and then they come back into the game, as you joked on the green room beforehand. Zero Tenacity are one of those teams that doesn't necessarily give those openings for you to come back. So if they build up enough of a lead in the early stages of the game, it may be the case that Zetend just aren't ready to come in. Malonek, feeling himself right now, does not want to go under the tower to try and pick up Cozy. Shift was forced to burn the flash in mid lane as Zerdot able to make his way up and out, thanks to the early reset that he and Harpoon got.
I mean, that matchup shouldn't go that way so early in the game, right? Renekton, one of the laning phase bullies that exist in the top lane, has sustained, has so much damage. Etekadea and Cassante should be struggling early on, but Melonic shows that he knows the matchup, he has studied, and that's an excellent map movement by Zero Dynasty. And as you said, yeah, Back to the Game can struggle a little bit in the lane, because can struggle in the transition towards the mid game. Usually then they kind of pick up the slack and have some excellent team fights, but maybe once again we do have a rock paper scissors situation over here versus Zero Tenacity, because Zero Tenacity is an excellent macro and tempo team. They know how to force the tempo on the enemy team, they know when they have the absolute advantage and how to play with it all over the map. We saw right now Erdote, they had a cheeky reset, suddenly he's in the mid lane blowing enemy flashes, getting summoner advantage for his team, and that's an excellent time for them. And if you manage to pressure Back to the Game and never give him an even footing in teamfights, I don't think they can call out their name and find their angles to play the game once again. Also, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but I just realized that...
Tangent away!
Did you see Harpoon's runes? Kofta's runes?
No, I did not. Spellbook Yone.
I mean, that's disrespectful.
I love it. Okay.
That's fully disrespectful.
I mean, yes, but it does mean that he will have effectively like double, triple the amount of available summoners throughout the course of the game. Start off with TP, feel like you can get a kill, alright, take the Ignite. Feel like you might be in danger of getting blown up as you go through as the fight actually starts towards the bottom side. Harpoon takes a chunk. Lothar not going to be able to do much more though, obviously, as he has to reload. But it's a good start for the back to the game bottom lane. You do punish a little bit of an overpush. However, Bluazor is making his way towards the bottom lane. Sees that there's not really much to be done right now, however. But this push that has been secured means that they will be able to secure this first Drake pretty safely.
Yeah, I mean, usually brands go and play for the grabs. They can take the grabs in a matter of seconds, but now they do have the bot lane push. But there's been a contest. Sashka is coming.
Kofta is ready to move in as well as the hook lands onto Shazq, and this Maokai is simply not tanky yet. Lothar gets caught by the Flame Chompers, has to flash. The Drake is still continuing to be uncontested. Yeah, Zero Tenacity, they take some damage, but they're able to pick up first blood, they are able to pick up the first Drake, and it feels a little bit to me, Rev, like Back to the Game were just behind on the play.
Yeah, they tried to contest afterwards, but they were not completely aware of who controlled the area and where they could walk from. You know, there's this misconception that you always have to walk from the mid lane to go on the river, but sometimes you don't really control the river. So if you want to contest, you need to go from the other side, or even better, just go and make a play on the other side of the map. Sashka now will strike the grabs. I'm not sure if he wants to spend the time to collect all three of those, because although he can, look at where his camps are located, right? His bottom side of the jungle has been spawning up, and if he stays for all three of the camps, he's gonna be very late on tempo for the next iteration of his full clear.
He is still going to be able to pick those up. Left the grub on 1 health for a second there, but will secure that. As you rightly say, his clear is delayed somewhat, but he is, at least at the moment, keeping up with Bluazor decently well. And the question I really have is, did he need to walk in for the Drake? I feel like it was a pretty simple situation. Lothar is caught by the hook. Follow up though, Harpoon way too far away to do anything. Those rockets may be long range, but not that long range.
Yeah, I mean, it's also very fun to see a level 4 Nautilus going into a level 6 Jhin, winning the 1-1 straight up. Nothing to say there, you can do anything.
Lothar doesn't have any items yet.
True, and also there's the aftershock, but I know all of those, you know, details. I've been playing support, I've been arguing with weird ADC mains about all of those, but it's still fun.
Lace coming through on the bottom side though. Has gone a bit too far. Has his flash available, but not really worthwhile to use it as Lothar, in revenge for the earlier 1v1, will pick that up for Back to the Game's first kill. Right now though, as we were sort of prophesizing a little bit, Back to the Game, they are 1-1 in kills, but they obviously lost that Drake, they lost first blood, and they are falling behind in the gold.
I'm thinking about how much are those grabs worth right now for them. Can they actually utilize it anywhere? Jhin.
Curtain call coming through, a quarter. Gonna try and find the dive, but Shattering Strike misses. Harpoon will be just fine. Bluazor now coming in. This Rel might be in some troubles. The ultimate coming across. I don't think it bounced, however, so a quarter is able to get out just fine. Lothar does not have flash, however, so he needs to move. Flash from Bluazor will lock him in the a very sticky situation. Ignite as well from Erdo comes in. A corner should be able to get out just fine. Lothar tries to trade Harpoon, not quite able to do it as the rocket over the top. Harpoon makes it 2.
That's an excellent rocket over there, and Harpoon finally collects his first kill. That Jinx is on the board, more likely than not will get an extra plating as well. So Harpoon must be feeling very nicely for himself as we go into the 10th minute of the game, and the next iteration of neutrals will be spawning. You kind of overextended there. I'm not sure if they didn't know where Blue Razor was, but they did not even check his jungle. They just walk in under the enemy tower.
Yeah, they were very much not respecting that Bluazor could be there. Maybe feeling a little bit overly hyphy from getting that kill onto Erdo. That does now mean that Zero Tenacity filled up their gold lead nearly at 2k as we cross that 10-minute mark. As you say, Drake's coming up fairly shortly. Melonic is having a pretty chill time into codes right now, and in fact, Lurazor trying to make his way top. Cozy should be okay for now as long as he respects. There isn't a ward there right now, but based on what they do know and the fact that Lurazor was bought about a minute ago, should be able to surmise that Brand is topside.
I mean, yeah, and you also don't want to give sick grabs to any enemy team. Sometimes you're very willing to sacrifice a second.
Ooh.
Grabs.
I'm smelling a dive, Rev. Koft is making his way up as well. He's got the ignite. It seems that Cozy has done what he needed to do, though wave is cleared out swiftly enough, and the dive will be diffused.
I mean, yeah, Cozy smelled the dive as well, and he was having none of it. Made the wave pretty high up, making sure that the enemy team can't really get anything on him. And there's ignite. It's not his ignite, it's a borrowed ignite. And you know, I'm kind of in awe, because usually in all those range matchups you want to go, you know, second wind, fleet footwork, door and chill, but no fleet for you. You just want to have more summoners, you just want to have more utility. And you're just not respecting Sisyph's ability to kind of poke you off the lane.
I like the fact that he went in and nicely played from Shiv there, I think. He lands the fear, means that Kofta can't land much follow-up damage aside from the ignite, and it means that Way is going to be able to take that one down. Harpoon and Erdo now stepping into the river. They spot the Shazku has started this out. However, they do find a Corda who was waiting in the wings. Kofta has now come down as well. Bluazor is there also. Nature's Grasp now coming through. Shiv going to try and find the fear. Has got the damage. As the Spiraling Despair will come down also. Not quite enough damage right now. Severing Bolt might have done it, but it is dodged away. It's just going to be a Corda that is traded. Will be a first strike secured. Mountain in the pocket, and we're onto an Ocean Rift.
I mean, it was almost an excellent play there from Zero Tenacity. The only thing I have to say about it is that they skipped the last grab. Because he tried to leash this as far away as possible. Bruiser was not able to secure it. That means that Sashku will get both the XP influx from his jungle item and will collect the extra might for his team. Plus the Skull Grab spawning there must feel pretty nice for that big old tree. But now they're looking maybe for playing the top side. Melanie has no low.
Pretty low? Yeah. He's pretty low though, and there's no wave, so unless Shazku just wants to try and deny the recall with the sapling. Here we go. And it's not going to really do much. Erdo makes his way up. Well-played bodyguard for his top laner, and as such, Shazku, a little bit sad perhaps, will have to back away. Instead look towards that Herald spawning in a minute's time.
I mean, nothing they can do, right? Everyone plays all those waves way too respectfully. They don't want to outplay, they just want to get themselves a lead, and that's usually not what Zero Dynasty does. They do tend to overstep their boundaries by a bit. They try to punish the enemy team and force any slight advantage they have to their limits, but now they know that, hey guys, this is serious. We kind of lost our first series. We still wants to be the king of the EPL, want to do the three-pit. Let's not forget that they won the first two iterations of the EPL low. So they're putting on their best suits and playing the game. Now, Melanic goes towards the bottom lane, has access to the teleport. Cozy can say the same, so Back to the Game are kind of losing a little bit in terms of XP and gold, because they have to force the mid lane all together in order to have a 5-man roster outside the Rift Hell.
They do have all 5 people there. However, Cozy did go to clear the wave top lane, so it's going to be a moment where he can make his way across. Now Zero Tenacity, they need to decide, do they want to pull Melanic topside for this fight? It certainly looks like the answer to that is yes, as the Herald already down below half health. The engage from a corner, though, finds the catch as Blurazor and Erdo are absolutely detonated. Melanic comes in, but there is absolutely nothing for this Cassante to find. He's going to try and run this one out while Shazku will secure that. Fate Sealed comes across, but really does not seal anything but the Herald secure for the side of Back to the Game. And this time, it's Zero Tenacity who are caught lacking.
I mean, yeah, the answer to that was not. They were just trying to dribble around and, you know, delay the Rift Hell take by a bit while Melanic was getting that first tower, but now they lose on all
Tower didn't go down, by the way.
Yeah, Melanic didn't get the tower, he had to teleport in early, still got caught out and was executed. First tower goes to the side of Back to the Game, and for the first time in this game, they are in a slight gold lead, but let's call it even, because, let's be real, it is even.
Oh, yeah.
But they are still equalizing the game state with a very nice teamfight. Plus, they now have the Rift Herald in their pocket.
I mean, this is also just, yeah, perfectly on brand for Back to the Game. We said that they often fall behind in the early stages of the game and have to make resurgent plays. Well, they're doing it nice and early this time around. As you said, 15 minutes on the board. They are pretty much bang even with Zero Tenacity, although do need to keep an eye out. Shiv for a second. Looked like he might have been in some danger, but is going to be able to keep himself safe for now.
Yep, let's see if they manage to find a response to that. However, they will be in the back for the next 3 minutes or so. Drake spawning in a minute's time. And Back to the Game has the option of using the Rift Herald to just create some sort of pressure, create a lose-lose situation towards the side of Zero Tenacity, or they can try and push the limit. We've seen teams just abandon the neutral and go towards the other side, use the Rift Herald, try to get a tier 2 tower. Teams love getting tier 2 towers against that.
Rev,
Yeah,
how do we feel about Bloodsong on Nautilus?
I love it. I mean,
Lothar?
every engaged support who can actually auto-attack, so not Rel, not Alistar, needs Bloodsong, I feel. You can skip having any Black Cleaver, you can skip buying LDR for an extra item just because it gives you 12% extra damage. That's absurd.
Certainly is. Does mean that Erdok does need to be a little bit more careful though, because the lack of the Celestial opposition makes him a lot less tanky. Cozy can take a lot of damage on the front line here. Melodic needs to get away with the Pathmaker. They're going to try and chase this one through. Cozy is decently low right now, though. The Pyrolasm comes through. Blue Resort trying to make it happen. All Out is used also. Cozy drops down as the numbers are starting to favor Zero Tenacity. Kofta is able to TP into the play as it's pretty much already over. Shoshu trying to get onto Harpoon is able to secure the kill. It's not going to do anything for Back to the Game. However, Shiv dropping Kofta very low here. One more hit would probably do it. Forces the flash out. Erdo going forwards, but now he is the one who's going to have to run away. And with all of that mana and a blue buff in pocket, Shiv actually stands his ground long enough to ensure that Zero Tenacity do not have a free walk to the Drake.
Yeah, at least Zero Tenacity won the fight. They're getting a slight gold lead back, especially with some of those shutdowns, but they will have to abandon the start. I feel like I don't think that Kofta can wave clear soon enough, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's a goat. No, I'm not wrong.
Never mind.
He's not a goat.
I mean, these two things are not mutually exclusive. Kofta is doing perfectly well for himself right now.
Yeah, true.
Shiv, though, worth a shout out. 303 on Hwei right now. Of course, we mentioned beforehand, 7 games already played, 6 KDA, which for a champion that can do very badly when engaged upon, that's a pretty spicy number.
I mean, yes, we'll have access to his flash pretty soon. Next item can very well be a Zonia Sardas because, you know, you already got all your dot items, you don't really care about your high HP opponents, you just care about surviving, or even go for the Criblum, so you still have a little bit more sustain in the team fights. But he's looking at to be a very nice spot, and I'm just wondering if by having this kind of Hwei with you, do you really need to go towards the high income build on the Mount Guide? But there's Nature's Grasp. Bye-bye, Blue.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage coming out of that Hwei. Already with the 2 items, as you say, much sooner than anyone else on the Rift. And they also find a second kill onto Erdode. Now, Melodic is certainly making the most of that in the top lane, pushing on towards that tier 2. I'm not sure if he'll be able to take it down in time. Of course, with Shiv walking across a Severing Bolt, should be able to remove most of those caster minions. But,
Yeah, but
for a play that went badly for Zero Tenacity, they're not falling behind in gold.
I mean, yeah, they are in the map. In theory, they lost a lot, right?
Yeah.
Maloric, I think he should be fine. He's Cassandra. He has 300 dashes. If he doesn't walk into the next Severing Bolt, he should be fine.
You can't, surely there's not 3 back-to-back. There we go. Okay, he is able to walk it out.
He right-click the other way. Chat, let's go. Slow clap.
I mean, yeah. 3 strikes not coming through this time around, but as we look towards the gold, it is indeed Shiv who has the most in the game right now. Nearly 1,000 up on Kofta. In the top lane, slight advantage for Melonic. In the bot lane, slight advantage for Harpoon. As Lothan. How do we feel about LDR second on the Jhin?
I mean, kind of fine, right? You're the only 80 damage right now. You do like the IH, you do like maybe even a Collector, but I'm just looking at the enemy top side. How will you ever touch Cassandra? And I think you'll be mostly touching Cassandra if any fight doesn't go completely in your favor. Speaking about Cassandra.
This is brave. Brave, I'm going to say, from Cozy and Accorda. They were stood in that jungle for a fair while without any support. Plenty of Zero Tenacity members nearby. However, now they have basically created a wall that Zero Tenacity cannot get through in order to try and defend this top tier 2 turret. They've got Void Might spawning. Damage will be more than enough. Nature's Grasp coming across as well. They may look to find the fight after the tower falls. It looks like Ziptan are going to be able to get on out. Again, though, they are doing the cross map. Kofta pushing towards the bot tier 2 turret. It's going to take a TP from Cozy to prevent that, but now with Baron up, that's a long time that Back to the Game might be lacking their Renekton.
I mean, that's true. However, with that teleport, you're making sure that the enemy is lagging on the crossmap at every single iteration of it, right? Yes, you're splitting all that gold, but it's still a gold gain for your team. Your support even might be getting an extra cloth armor or having an extra controller to control an area. And the enemy team, yes, they're keeping the teleports, but as long as they can't actually find that Baron angle, find that extra overload angle on the other side of the map, you're still being the one who's emerging victorious. So you're still being the one suddenly getting more for yourself and keeping the gold state close to even. And with the next Drake spawning up in 2 minutes, if you're going in all those teamfights in an even state, your Hui Maokai combo is looking very, very strong.
At the moment, I think we're looking towards the pick game, however. Almost everybody on this rift has their flash. In fact, as of this very moment, I think Cozy's a couple of seconds away from getting his back. But there will be every single flash up. Both of these teams are going to want to change that before this Drake spawns.
Yeah. Let's see if they manage to find any angle, any single strangler right now. Maybe to get one kill, maybe to get a summoner off the enemy team. But so far, everyone's just warding, clearing camps, clearing waves, and bouncing. Control each other. Kofte might have close to have an item in his pocket if he wants to reset. And now he's looking for it.
Yep. Right now, it's the ward dance as well. We see that there is some deep vision placed by both teams here. We've got the buff the ward from Zero Tenacity that we can see just next to Shaz. There's another one up in that brush. Meanwhile, though, Blue Resort caught out again. Curtain has been called, Flash has already been burned, and he is locked against the wall. That is a jungler down for nearly 40 seconds. Back to the game. They did burn several ultimates to do that.
Yeah, but the ultimate will be almost up, right? Look at the Hui ultimate already, quarter way back, James, a fifth maybe. And you kill the enemy jungle will be late to the play as they need approximately 30 seconds
this
to arrive outside.
Yeah, this plus the walk means that if Back to the Game start the Drake up on spawn, then there should be basically no way Blue Resort is able to make it in time.
Yeah, and plus, they don't have any flash now left. You were talking about how those summoners are important.
Might be in some trouble. Doesn't quite go down, though. 2.5 items from Kofta. We are starting to see this Yone become very, very spooky. Especially in the 1v1. Of course, 1v1's not exactly what this way is going to be looking for. He has been destroying folks in these team fights. Speaking of, we are going to look towards one now, it seems. TP now coming through. As Zero Tenacity instead walk towards the top side of the rift. They're going to say, alright, you want to start up Drake? We're going to look for Baron instead. Gonna have to tank that one up for his team. The Flame Chompers do a great job of ensuring that Back to the Game can't follow up on this. Wait, looking for the route here. Kofta has a great potential flank angle, but he is being manned, being guarded by Cozy. Instead, everybody will return towards the mid lane. Back to the Game, again, in a good position to start off this Drake. Blue Resort is still topside.
I mean, Blurzer is still top side Kofte as well, and Back to the Game needs to start this Drake as soon as humanly possible, otherwise they're gonna be starting to bleed out resources, and as long as Kofte with Blurzer stay on the top side and have complete control, they will be threatened with the button.
It resets though, yeah, and Zero Tenacity just start up the Baron. Cozy needs to be able to join up with the team, get in, or potentially find the flank angle. Zero Tenacity. They don't stick around too long. Accorda is looking for an engage angle, but obviously don't want to overcommit. Melonic dropping low, looking for the backside here. All out is used. The Magnet Storm will hold them in place for a while. Accorda will drop. Melonic is able to flash out and survive. Erdo putting some damage down onto Shaz, but it's the main carries that are still pretty darn healthy. The knockback onto the Nautilus will take that one down. Killing spree for Lothar. Harpoon and Blue now trying to run away. The curtains have been opened. Harpoon dropping low.
Oh, Melody!
TP's back in, and he finds Shiv. Here comes Kofte as well, trying to take down this Jin. Fate Seal is available. He goes over the wall, but not quite able to find it, however. But the rest of Back to the Game are falling to pieces. Lothar, last one standing, as the play goes wholly in the favor of Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, and they seem to have forgotten that the whole fight started as a 4v5 and you were still losing it. Kofte took his sweet little time arriving, came without using any teleport, flanked your team, and made sure that he plus the Melonic teleport back give his team the almost ace and the Baron buff. Now, they don't really care about the Drake. If they go there and it's still up and available, they will collect it, but they have the upper hand.
Absolutely do, and there was no real rush for Kofte to show up in that fight. I feel like Back to the Game skipped some steps, shall we say. They knew Kofte wasn't there. They walked forwards into a choke point, onto the teleport of Melonic, trying to find kills. And as soon as the Cassante appeared, Shiv just died.
Yeah, nothing that he can do over there. Just an immobile play, not having got funding, but does it all.
Catch onto Accorda, and Melonic is looking to wipe away the memory of his two previous Cassante games. Nature's Grasp having to use defensively. It's Kofte. TP's towards bottom lane, actually. Try and stop Cozy from pushing out the wave. In the meantime, of course, Blurzer will be able to start off the Drake with a dead support. It's going to be very difficult for Shaz and the rest of Back to the Game to get into this one. So instead, just going to have to give this one up. Only going to be second Drake as the curtains have again been open. Red buff.
Oh, Cozy!
Cozy looking for Harpoon. Will be able to find the Jinx. The damage now coming through Kofte. Looking for the backline. Still not quite able to find enough damage.
Oh,
the bounce
the burn,
of the Pyroclasm. The burn is too much. It's a triple kill for Blue Azor. He's looking towards Shiv as well. Gets caught by the fear. Will not drop. But again, Zero Tenacity push their advantage, push their lead, has to go golden in response to the Severing Bolt. Shattering Strike will mean his death. Melonic coming on out the mid lane now as well. So much rests on the shoulders of Shiv and his Hui. He's doing good damage. Accorda is surviving for a good while, but those two combined are not going to be enough. Towers falling. And now it's just the base of Back to the Game that remains. Zero Tenacity are cracking this one open.
Yeah, look at the goal lead. We've had 3 minutes of absolute chaos, and the goal lead from being, I don't know, a 1k ahead for Zero Tenacity suddenly turns to be 8k for them. Suddenly, the spikes from the items being completed are huge, and even if Zero Tenacities are overstepping their boundaries,
Rev.
they're still so much stronger. Hello?
Rev,
Yeah?
look at that CSD in the mid lane. Kofte's been on side lane so much that he is nearly flame horizoning. He is nearly 100 CS up onto Shiv right now, despite all of the work this Hui has been putting in throughout the game.
I mean, that's kind of the start of the game, isn't it? Like, Sif is there always trying to save the team fights, always trying to, you know, stop their bleedings and whatnot, and Kofte is just chilling in the side lane. It's, you know, have you seen that meme with the AD carry? Is that streamer who's sweating and there's a Yumi just singing? That's Kofte. See, he's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. This game, he can kind of autopilot this game, within reason, obviously. If you disrespect, then you might be in a very rough situation, but he's never found himself in that sort of situation, because Shaz has always been trying to be roughly where Blue Azor is, and there's really been no need to shadow Kofte in this game. it is so easy for the Yone to get out of most situations. He can exhaust somebody. He can use the last, the dash from the Mortal Steel to get out. If needed, he can use Fate Sealed to get out as well. And thanks to that, we see him so far up in gold. He is over 2,000 gold up onto Shiv. And at this point, poised to take this first game for Zero Tenacity.
I mean, he's also unkilled so far, right? If somebody managed to get his head, the bounty is 950 gold right now for them to collect. It's gonna be a huge influx of cash for the side of Back2TheGame, but that's only if. There's still the shield from the Immortal Shield Ball. The Stride Breaker gives quite a lot of HP. Didn't even go towards the Iceborne Gauntlet, which a lot of Yones do prefer, because it gives you the extra armor, the health, plus the slow. Makes it very nice to play. He's gonna be completing the IE pretty soon. There it is, 100% crit. And I think that Back2TheGame saw it and they're like, guys, can we remake, please?
Timeout. Yeah, timeout. Get the coaches in.
It's unfair.
To figure out our next play. That's a fun discussion, Rev. Obviously, a lot of sports, a lot of esports especially, like Counter-Strike, they have timeouts where the coach can come in and be like, all right, this is what we're doing right, this is what we're doing wrong, what needs to change. Is there any more argument you think for something like that in League? I feel like it's too disruptive to the flow of the game.
I mean, it is, but one of the points of a timeout in traditional sport is to disrupt the enemy's flow, right? Especially in basketball when you have multiple timeouts. Sometimes you see the enemy team go into an 8-10 point streak, you time out immediately, try to disrupt the flow. You don't even say anything to your team. You're like, guys, you suck, they don't, let's just reset.
Get better.
Yeah, just kill it.
I mean, we've already got the Fnatic. If the memes are to be believed, we already sought to do that with the Fnatic pauses.
Yeah. Now, I think that it can be done, but in moderation. Like in a best of 5, you may have one per team, let's say.
Yeah.
In a best of 1, I don't think you do that, because the best of 1s are already flipping their nature. Sometimes you can, do something early game.
What's to be learned if there's cheese coming through.
Yeah.
Or if you're just getting dumpstered into BO1. That's
also, if you're about to do that, then the coach who can call and speak for the timeout should not have God vision.
Oh, of course.
So they should have fog of war.
I always assumed that was the case anyway, but I mean,
they're always watching the games from the broadcast, right? So they have God vision.
That's true.
So they see the same amount. Like, this is also what's really unfair with us as casters. Sometimes we see plays and they're clear as day. We're like, come on, guys.
How could he not have seen this?
Yeah, we are so bad at the game and we can see these plays, but they're playing under a stressful situation. They're playing with only like limited vision. Also, I swear to God, zooming out in League of Legends is unfair.
It is. That limited viewpoint. There is a very good reason that you can only zoom out so far in this game. And, you can go a lot further than that when spectating.
Yeah, thank you, Observer. There was a point like when I was just zooming out and the spectator just for fun, and it's getting funny, It's like, oh, is that how God sees us or whatever?
Who knows? The deep philosophical questions of the world. As we crest the 30-second minute mark, nearly a 10k advantage for Zero Tenacity, but they're not over-forcing it.
Yeah.
They're not particularly eager, it seems, for the game to end. We've got 10 seconds until another Ocean Drake spawns. They could go for that. Baron has just spawned onto the Rift as well. And, the world is kind of Zero Tenacity's oyster right now. They are quite lacking in the vision department. Back to the game. Or not. They have good build-up around the Baron. They will pick up the Scuttle as well. Drake is going to go down quickly at this point in the game. It'd be easy enough. Blue Resort and Harpoon pick that up. Back to the game are going to start this one out. Of course, Cozy and Kofta are both on the bottom lane right now. Akorda is looking to find a flank angle, but Melonic is so tanky right now. He's just going to yeet Shaz through the wall. And
what is
Malachi drops low, but not quite dead right now. Shiv now trying to open up. Spiral of Despair comes down. Akorda is going to be the first to fall. Harpoon now opening up. A couple more autos would do it as Shiv is trying to get out. Not quite going to be able to find his time. Pyroclasm out of Blue Resort. He goes golden. The Gaze of the Abyss comes through on top, but he dies before he can do anything more, and Cozy, utterly unable to help his team from the side lane, is taken down from Kofta. It is a clean ace for Zero Tenacity, and just like that, Back to the Game are sent back out the game.
Yeah, what a statement. A clean ace on both sides of the fight. They won the 1v1, they won the 4v4 very, very clearly. Now Jinx will get 500,000, I don't know, attacks, but I see 301. That's really unfair. And we learn this game in 34 minutes time. Back to the game. Tried very hard for the first couple of minutes, but then it was Zero Tenacity's game from this point onward.
Credit to Back to the Game. As we said, they often fall quite a ways behind in the early stages of the game. They were able to even it out for a time. But a couple of crucial moments. My mind certainly lingers on just behind the Baron pit, where they stack up and allow Melonic to just snap remove Shiv. And from that point on, Kofta was kind of able to chill on a side lane. There wasn't really anything Cozy could do about him as he built up, to the point that when we got to that 1v1 in the late stages, I don't think anyone was ever going to think that Cozy was going to win that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Melonic was playing off his mind. Kofta was playing off his mind as well. You saw it like 12 CS per minute, zero deaths with a Yone, playing with an unsealed spellbook in a lane where you're supposed to get popped out. Extremely impressive. And although it wasn't like the cleanest victory we've seen in our lives, I feel like there was so little that Back to the Game could do to turn around the impression that they were always on the back foot and they were always struggling to find any first move on the map after the point they got pressured off the third break.
It certainly feels like it. There's some good takeaways, though, from game number one, from Back to the Game. I certainly feel like, confidence-wise, obviously, I'm coming in as a mostly outsider. I know these teams, I've been in the space, but obviously you've been immersed pretty much the entire season long. Do you see something? Do you see some more hope? Does 25% seem like a little bit low for Back to the Game here, or are you mostly sticking with your guns?
Okay. 25% seems a little bit high right now. It's very harsh, and of course we've just come from a day where Zero Tenacity stomped the first game, and then they got stomped twice in a row. I don't see it. You know, sometimes when you keep losing over the same opponent, everyone who's played something like the Dark Souls, you know, you reach a certain boss, you can beat any other boss in the game, that boss slaps you 300 times in a row, you can do anything. You're just mentally defeated as you go into that fight. And I feel like Back to the Game are kind of mentally defeated as they go in that series.
I'm mad, Rev. They nerfed the final boss of the DLC before I could kill him. I actually have to get a mod or something to reinstate him to his actual power level so I can feel like I defeated him legit. I don't know if I'm like, I don't think it was my first Souls-like game, but I feel like if I beat the nerfed version, it doesn't count.
I mean, I haven't even purchased the DLC so far, so
There's no rush to do it.
I mean, yeah, but it's, I don't know. As a Souls gamer, I'm kind of ashamed. I think, like, let's hide my shame. Let's go. I think we can go to a break right now, so let's hide my shame.
We can probably go to a break. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you in a bit. and welcome back, everybody, as we are right on into draft for game number 2. Back to the game, sweeping across to the red side, as they hope to keep themselves alive in this series, and indeed in contention for the victory of EPL Season 3. Zero Tenacity, of course, looking for the three-peat. They've got to win another game before they can get that rematch with Big tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And Tenacity have been slightly struggling on the blue side. They do love their counter picks over there. But right now, I'm not sure if they got anything that's counter pick worthy in the previous game. I mean, Cassandra is usually being picked in the blue 4 side. Yone was blind picked, so you can do it immediately again. Yep, there it is.
There we go.
The rel being banned away as well means that there's no rel to pick for Back the Game.
Are they going to force them to play something not rel Nautilus?
Maybe. Do you okay?
I mean,
do you pick Nautilus so early in the game?
I don't know. I don't feel like you should need to. And I mean, are you really going to be that afraid of that champion? Instead, Shiv looking to pick up the Hui again, so not too mad about how mid lane went, and I think that's fair enough, really. Like, perhaps he could have gotten more of an advantage in the early stages of the game, but also on top of that, Erdo did show mid lane a couple of times during laning phase to try and keep Kofta in an okay spot.
I mean, if you don't pick Nautilus now, however, it's going to be a hard time because it's very easy for Back to the Game to pick either Nautilus or Leon and be like, okay, we see your Rima Valkyrie, we raise you with a lot of engage, and the Jarvan is more of the same.
Both junglers have got their sort of marquee picks. Shaz has played 6 games of Sedge, looked very solid. Blue Resort, already mentioned it, 6 games of the Jarvan, 9 KDA. Thus far, and just a generally terrifying combo with the Yone and with the Rumble as well. That is a wombo right there.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of AP damage, which might otherwise would be missing from your team comp. I was thinking about it because you banned away the Ziggs. You might struggle a little bit to select the proper ADC with the MF, Varus, and Ash already being banned away and Back to the Game already dipping the toes in Ezreal.
Do you ban the Nautilus here and just another means of forcing Edo onto something new? Or, of course, I mean, you still have the first pick after the second rotation of bans. You could pick it for yourself. I'm just thinking, because Accorda is a big Rakan player, Nautilus does kind of muck him up a bit.
I mean, true, but do you really want to pick Rakan into any of those picks? Anything that's kind of squishy, I think it's going to be very hard. You either need to go for something tanky, and I'm not a huge fan of the Nautilus into the Jarvan Rumble as well. Sometimes you catch out the Rumble and suddenly you become a shish kebab over there, slowly being grilled from his flame spitter.
That's Kofta.
Yeah, you see. And no, I'm not really sure what you're going for here. Honestly, I'm perplexed. I would go for the Karma.
A whole bunch of AD carries gone. We're going down the barrel with the AD carry picks this game. Ziggs gone, Varus gone, Jin gone, Kai'Sa gone, MF gone, Ashe gone. I mean, Harpoon plays pretty much down everything, so there's still going to be plenty of options for him. Like, there's a part of me that wouldn't even hate something like a Sivir here. As Cozy picking his signature has been his pocket pick from as long as I could see. The Fiora into that Rumble matchup.
Okay, thing is, right now, do you flex that Rumble in the support position? You could go for it. No, it's the Nautilus anyways.
No. Nautilus is up. What are you talking about, Ref?
It's true. I mean, I was out of line. I want to publicly apologize to Erdot and all of his fans.
This seems like a fairly simple Leona quarter here.
Could also be a Thresh.
Thresh would be nice. Although, for the most part, you've got a pretty mobile team, but it could be a nice way of getting Shiv out of a Cataclysm.
Yeah, exactly.
If it gets pulled onto him. No, okay, just going to be the Alistar. Yeah. That is also fine. It's good front line to go alongside Shaz on that Sejuani. I mean, that was towards the top lane, though, because Melonic, firstly, crushed his demons, won a game on Cassante. Yay, let's celebrate that. On to the Rumble now. The onus of execution on his team, though, pretty low. It's pretty much drop the Cataclysm on somebody, put a Fate Seal, put an Equalizer over the top of it, and watch anyone that's still in there get, well, barbecued, as you were saying.
Well, that's true. I'm not sure how easy it will be for back early game to actually survive, especially like European melee on the top side. That what I expect to be a 3v3 with the Jarvan, Rumble, Nautilus versus Fiora, Sejuani, Alistar. If you're not first on the play, you should be getting grilled pretty heavily, at least from level 6 onwards. So yeah, it's gonna be very hard, but I think that you're kind of outscaling. Maybe bar the Zeri. I haven't seen a lot of Zeri lately, and I'm eager to see. Is it gonna
historically,
Yeah.
she turbo scales. Like 3 items. Is it? I mean, is it still the same champion? Obviously, we've seen that Zeri was sort of like get 3 items, win the game, hyper carry level of champion. She's gone through a lot of changes since then. I think she can certainly brawl a lot more in the mid game now, but she has perhaps paid a bit with late game power for it.
I mean, that's true, always. I just don't know what her new builds are like. You know, she has that Stride Breaker new build, which also very interesting, makes her kind of tankier. Not really sure how much damage it can output if she can team fight in one item, or she needs like 2 or 3. There's all sorts of questions for me, at least, or at least in my head, of where does she actually spike? Because in the olden days, Static Shift, Hurricane, Infinity, you're good to go.
I mean, Shiv is certainly very much still a first item for her, I think. But yeah, when you hit that actual point, the question does become what you want to do with that. As we pad up the river, and we see a frog.
Is it Frog or is it Lord Kevin Ribbington the third, before he gets the Lord title?
It can be both. I mean, that's well, it's not the name that. No, that's the name that Ivan gives Gromp.
I mean, I'm not sure if Ivor gives a name. I think that's like.
So I remembered. I am looking this up. Ivan, there is an interaction line of Ivan with the Gromp.
Yeah, but I think that's his name. Ivan just reveals it to us. No?
Yeah. I'm looking this up.
Oh, no, you have enough time to look this up. The game has been paused. There have been slight technical difficulties in this past game and a half. Let's hope that it's gonna be resolved pretty soon. And we're gonna have this game. Now, I really love about asking predictions, but I don't wanna hear any analysis. Weird, I know, I'm a colorcaster. I want you as a play-by-play to give me your gut feeling. Is it gonna be a straight 2-0? Or Back to the Game have a chance to get back in the series?
The composition they've put out is certainly one of from a very comfortable position. Like, Cozy knows Fiora very, very well. Shiv, we saw, had a fantastic game on the way here. Now, with that said, 3 of my favorite words in League of Legends are ease of execution, and when your execution for Zero Tenacity is put 3 ultimates down on top of each other, it's a bit of a challenge. Cozy especially, I think, is going to have to play really hard to try and find the right angle to succeed on this Fiora.
Yeah, especially in team fights. I mean, it's what I like to call passport diff, right? We've heard this in houses as well a lot. Somehow the Asian players just played better. Yeah, go ahead.
Lord Grumpulus Kevin Riverton of Crooksworth.
Yeah, but is it like his actual name or is it a nickname from Ivan?
That's an excellent question.
I do enjoy making excellent questions, not gonna lie. But yeah, laning phase is about to start. Nothing too spicy. This is Wallwood, the enemy Raptors. So he's gonna have a slight idea of where Jarvan is about to start.
Don't know if the blue resort was spotted out there. Of course, a ward was also placed onto the red buff of Back to the Game here, so they can somewhat infer that Shaz is starting on the bottom side of the rift, which means, of course, it's quite likely. Never mind, there we go. Blue Resort immediately spotted out, and it looks like he might try to get a little bit of early trading on towards the Sejuani. Shaz already respecting, in fact, fully leaving his bot side jungle to avoid a fight with Blue Resort.
I mean, you have an Alistar level 1, not much of a champion. Also,
Yeah.
You're thinking about the Ezreal, he's actually very strong, but the Zeri can match him with the double auto attacks. And of course, Nautilus is one of the strongest early game champion. And you didn't leave actually your bot side jungle, so maybe you're getting your wolf stolen as well with a flag and drag. Flag! Oh, he didn't steal it.
Was able to pick it up, I think, Shaz. Or at least most of them.
Yeah.
Shiv has a good early push, of course, knows that Blue Resort is nearby, so will have to step back. That does mean that Kofta will be able to soak up some more CS that he might not have been able to otherwise. Of course, Blue Resort is quite delayed on his clear, but if you're going to delay your clear, why not delay your opponent's clear instead? He gets spotted out as he walks in towards the top side.
Yeah,
Shaz is having to delay starting his red buff, might have to fully give it up.
I mean, Sashku should get this level 3 pretty easily there, maybe with a level advantage, and he's
Right
minding
now.
up. He should be able to go and challenge it.
He needs to go quickly though. Blue Resort does have Flash Smite. Will use it, and then flag and drag straight on out of there. And now he has an entire jungle bar chickens to take as well.
I mean, yeah, if it's allowed to hit, because sometimes as Jabber, you know, you have to interact with the enemy team pretty early. So he doesn't stall his jungle, he's there for the 2v2.
Shaz looking in towards Melonic here, flashes burn, and the Fiora is the first to fall. Shaz does not have the damage to turn around onto Melonic. And even with a flash, I don't think he survives this. Tries to find the wall, but that's 2 for the Rumble already, and it is disaster for Back to the Game.
Oh, you really don't want the Rumble to get fed early on in the game, and that Rumble is
Cozy
starting
already
to cook.
burnt TP as well.
Oh, that's a disaster. He's gonna be...
Pretty much comes back to lane, dies to Melonic, which is a double kill as well. Now, the Rumble returns to lane with completed Sork shoes.
Yeah, and Rumble plays with Ignite as well, so he's not punished for that greenness. And that's just because Blue Resort was playing that annoying playstyle that he did play, right? He, instead of clearing his own jungle, instead of prioritizing his own tempo, he will start losing out a couple of camps, more likely than not, because, you know, Sashku is looking for those angles. Fortune for him, Berdote is another scout, apart from Timo. He's there making sure that his jungle is having available. But he should have been punished even slightly. Now he's not punished, he's making sure that Melonic is fine and dandy, and he's getting his team a very nice early lead.
That's kind of the problem with Sejuani. She's just not all that threatening in the 1v1 situation. Adote perhaps needs to be a little bit careful there, has to flash, and will still end up losing most of his health. Ignite used by a Corda. I think an Ignite for a flash is definitely worth it, however.
I mean, yeah, hypothetically it's both for the Ignite, but I'm looking at the bigger picture here. Look at Loden. He hasn't risen. He's still on his longsword, and as an Ezreal, you want to be getting early backs to get those, you know, very nice spikes for him. The Shin, the Tear, start stacking the Tear, making sure that he will be able to spam your spells. Now, he's stacking lane, the enemy is stacking her cow, and you can't even reset and buy a cow for yourself to start and stacking it for yourself. Oh, Cozy. You use that riposte, that means you're in trouble.
Just gonna have to run away. Melonic doing a good chunk. Level 6 is gonna be not too far away, I imagine, for this Rumble as well. Shaz gonna try and sneak his way in, but Blue Resort also shows his face towards the top side. This tracking coming out of the Jarvan is making life so difficult for Shazky to get anything done.
Yeah, you can't play with the Fiora, and you said it, that's Cozy's signature pick. If you can't allow it to play the game, it's gonna be very difficult. Akoda is in trouble.
Big trades coming through. Flash is still up for a corner though, so he's going to be able to get away from this one without too much trouble. Lothan still unable to recall, gets hooked up, will use the barrier. The engage coming through from a corner, however, Harpoon flashes, try and get away. Lothan trying to survive, hits Harpoon with the Mystic Shot. It'll be traded back, however, now support will combat a corner. All he needs to do is survive though as the Severing Bolt comes down. He will be picked up by Shiv here. A good movement from the mid lane. He does give up some pressure in his own lane to do it.
Upside. It's a dive at the Melonic.
Yep.
No ultimate.
Cozy, very low. Melonic has already used the equalizer, and Grand Challenge is used simply to try and dissuade further aggression. Shazku trying to get a recall off. The wave still being cleared out. Zero Tenacity do not want to end this play. Just put as much stress, put as much pressure onto Cozy and see if he cracks.
Yeah, make sure that Cozy loses out a ton of XP simultaneously. You're getting the first 3 of grabs there. Very, very easily with your Javan as you have all sorts of pressure.
Better yet,
Yeah.
Shazku's top lane. Can't trade with the Drake. Blurzor is now able to get back out onto the Rift, obviously. Despite the Melonic. Yeah. I mean, everyone's had one of those games, right? You play against a Rumble who gets early kills and the rest of the game just becomes unplayable.
Yeah.
I feel like Melonic might be having one of those today unless Shazku can really get something started.
Yeah, look at the gold dip already. It's 1100
Already
gold over there. Yeah.
Yep.
And his name might be Melonic, but he's making Rumble sing, call him Melodic. As Loden steals away that Skull Grab says, thanks for the leash, guys.
I don't know, I think he's listening to like Fortunate Son or something. Or that character out of Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
It's Freebird. It's like every time he's getting out of the bush, you're hearing... No, I'm tone deaf.
You're just hearing the solo, but Your Honor, Freebird was playing.
Sorry?
Man, that's one of my favorite memes. Just like, it's the meme just goes, but Your Honor, Freebird was playing.
Oh.
In like, speeding at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you could get away with it because you said Freebird was playing as Cozy.
I mean,
getting bullied out of his lane. Forced to flash as well as Blurzor continues to stick the boot in.
Yeah, Sashka on the other side this time, you can get your top laner out of proper ways. Cozy uses the Grand Challenge, the Grand Duel as well. Gets nothing of it bar his escape. And I think Blurzor is very happy the way he's not allowing the enemy top laner to ever play the game. He's already 20 CS behind. If he teleports back, he's gonna have so much trouble, and he's there. Still waiting for the enemy to come into the lane, and that's why Akode has to abandon bot lane.
Yeah, he needs to go and do something to help Cozy out. I also love the logic out of Blurzor this game. It's like, alright, my farm might suck, but yours is even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to play now, Akode, however. Can find that angle. Hex Flash is ready. There it is.
Just looking to go in. We'll be able to find a bit of a lockup. Flash immediately from Melonic. And the movement speed from the Scrap Shield can be more than enough to get him on out of there. Right now, again, we see the early advantage. 2K in the lead for Zero Tenacity. Remember, around the 15-minute mark was the time that Back to the Game were able to even it up in game 1, but considering the damage Kofta is already putting down in the mid lane,
Yeah.
I wonder if that opportunity is going to be offered.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Kofta is already very, very strong in the lane. He's 100 and something CS, 10 minutes in the game, still pretty perfect. And although Sensitive has roamed a little bit, has collected that one free kill in the bot side, he is still struggling to have his way in the team fight. He's still struggling to win any of those fights as Kofta is just dodging through everything.
Now he's going to dodge his way down towards bottom lane. He has got the spellbook again.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked so well last time, so why not? Back to the game.
Oh.
Started up the grubs. Nothing.
Oh god.
Forced to jump away. And the top side, they bully Back to the Game away from the grubs. One was able to be picked up by Shaz Akkorda. Gonna immediately have to use the Unbreakable Will. Now trying to find the damage down onto Adote, but the engage coming through. Blurzor putting the damage down. Harpoon is able to move away. Akkorda will flash. The slow coming through though. If Harpoon can connect a couple more of those, he will take it down, and does. Shiv in trade is able to take down Adote. You're not going to be able to do much about this Seri, however. And again, Zero Tenacity, no mercy.
Oh,
no
wait!
slowdown on this tempo as Harpoon finds that other kill into Shiv on the mid lane. Blurzor is also trying to clear out these jungle camps. Cozy is able to step down and spot him out at least, but he's not able to do much off of it.
Yeah, now with 4 grabs, Kofta getting those plates is gonna be piece of cake for him as well. The kill score is 7-3. The goal lead is close to 5k.
Is it just me, or is Soul Unbound a little bit unfair when used near turrets? It's like, okay, you get to free hit, effectively.
Okay.
Damage that goes down onto you while you're under that turret pretty much doesn't matter, because you can just peace out after the fact.
Okay, do you want solo... just a little bit. What about giving Solo Bound the same treatment as Azir soldiers?
Azir soldiers. Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's kind of what I was alluding to. I feel like perhaps that would be an interesting change, because the amount of pressure Yone gets on towards towers is just kind of nuts.
Yeah, or at least give him, you know, a slight nerf to damage structures when he's using Solo Bound, like dealing 80% of his damage, 90.
Better yet, he is in spirit form. Spirits can't damage structures.
Oh no, I think that's that kind of ruins.
That might be a little bit too much. Meanwhile,
oh,
damage might be a little bit too much for a shift. Not going to quite be able to take him down. Severing Bolt does not find its mark as Blue Resort is simply going to walk in. And, I mean, 5k at 15, 13 minutes even. Feels like Back the Game are being run off the Rift Hub. Trying to get out one more auto will do it. The True Shot Barrage will be able to secure the shutdown for Lothan. Cozy, I mean, it's trying to proxy. Normally you proxy when you're ahead. I honestly think this is just, I know I can't deal with Melonic, so I'm going to stay where his wave, like, I'm going to go take his wave rather than dealing with the Rumble himself.
Yeah, especially collecting at late, not something you usually see with the Sejuani. Even with that shutdown, even with that extra play, the goal lead is still absurd. 6k, or at least close to 6k with the first tower collected by Kofte. They're really feeling themselves. I feel that 25% is even high right now, as a quarter will become a prime piece of Wagyu.
You're right, bud. That was a whole bunch of friends that you were not ready for at all, as Kofte is going to be the one turning the grill, putting that beef into it. Herald up and available without his support to kind of walk in. It feels like back to the game. Not able to step in, not able to contest. The gold lead continues to grow. And, well, your statement before about 25% being perhaps hopeful, I like to seem almost prophetic, Rev.
Yeah, it looks rough for Back to the Game. And I'm thinking right now, I'm a lot of negative Nancy, right? But if we're gonna look for a copium angle, what's it gonna be for Back to the Game? Can they find picks? Can they outscale? Can they, I don't know, out-teamfight in close spaces? Because the more I think about any of those points...
I don't, you know what? You know exactly where I don't want them to be? In closed spaces.
Yes.
The 3-man wombo combo just gets free fights if that's the situation. Cozy, he's 2 levels down. He's 2 levels down on Kofta. What did you think was going to happen? Blue Resort walks up as well. The post will keep him safe from sun damage, but it kind of comes over the top. Abel, oh boy, that was some burst. Cozy is able to survive and walk it out. Blue Resort perhaps feeling himself a little bit too much. As on the bot side, Shaz and Co will be able to start up the Drake and pick up Back to the Game's second.
Yeah, there's a goal point. Let's see which show it will be. No Hextech, no Chemtech. It's gonna be Infernal. And
still pretty good.
Yeah, having Infernal on Ezreal, on Hui, all of those huge range carries is gonna feel pretty nice if you're able to connect with your spells. So that's a nice angle for Back to the Game to be there. I think that Blurzer got a little bit too eager, but it's still pretty fine. He didn't carry a huge shutdown on his name. Donating on the Fiora. Fiora now has a little bit of sustain. But yeah, it's hard for Cozy to actually influence both the silence and any of the fights.
And again, Cozy has to walk away. Edote now coming in. Blue Resort on top as well. I think he took that death personally, Rev, as Cozy. No way out this time, Edote. Bit of a Crepo moment. Old school gamers will get that joke.
I mean, it was also a little bit of a spirit moment. Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh?
I don't know. I like Crepo because he's the OG, but the numbers here, towards the right side. Harpoon ready to join the play as well. Kofta and Blue are able to get out pretty much for free. Lothar now taking that Zeri damage, able to get over the wall, and the blast code will get him to safety. A quarter, perhaps not so lucky. Flashes, but Harpoon will find his number. Another kill dropping down. Lothar, Shasky very, very low, but not going to drop right now. How much does that matter right now? My gut tells me not very much.
You know what the thing is, and I feel like I'm repeating myself in this series, but it was a 4v5 fight, by the way. Fiora was there. Actually, no, Fiora died, but she was there in the beginning. Meantime, Melonic was just bot lane. He was pushing waves, he was getting XP, getting gold for himself, and now he's looking for a piece of that Fiora head.
I mean,
Bye-bye.
Cozy's gonna hit the grand challenge. Can proc one of the 4 vitals before he drops down.
I mean, he did challenge
again. I mean,
he didn't win
challenge
the challenge.
failed,
Yeah.
but that's. I mean, I briefly saw the gold there. Can we have a glance back at the gold? Sorry, I wanted to just spot out. Yeah, nearly a 2k gold lead, around 18 minutes, just in the top lane. In fact, looking at most of the lanes, there's more than a 2k advantage for Kofta. There's a 1.7 there for Blue Resort. Just shy of 2k also for Harpoon. That's the thing, it's not just one person, Rev. This is the entirety of Zero Tenacity saying bet.
Yeah, it's just look at the whole goal lead graph, right? It's 9k, 18 minutes into the game. You're getting a 500 gold lead in every passing minute. It's absurd, right? Because the most difficult part in snowballing is to keep snowballing. Will he flash? No. He hasn't got a flash. But yeah, the most difficult part in snowballing is to keep snowballing because you have to overextend yourself more and more. You're giving more options towards the enemy team. That's why you usually see, some insane burst of gold and then it's nothing. There are lull states. But now, there are no lull states.
Meanwhile, back to the game, looking for an engage angle. Blue is off, taking a good chunk of damage, but he is able to lock a quarter in the Cataclysm. Will be able to lock that one down. Cozy dodging away from the dredge line. Kofta not actually taking a great trade against Shiv towards the top side, but it's still Zero Tenacity completely dictating the tempo of this game. And Back to the Game seems to be relegated to hiding under turrets.
Really?
Trying to find fight angles where they've got effectively a 6 or, a +1 member in the turret damage.
Yeah, and even then, your turrets end up dropping. Zero Tenacity has collected 5 whole turrets. There's only 1 inner turret remaining in the top side. The rest of them are already rumble on the ground. The second items and close to third items are starting to get completed for the side of Zero. So looking at Rumble, I'm thinking, hey, Rumble is a very strong guy, right? It's 2 items, it's pretty nice to have. And then looking at Kofta, and then looking at
Look at everybody.
Yeah.
Look at everybody, Rev. The only person is Odote who does not have a second item. And he's the support that's to be expected. We literally saw second item completion picked up by Blue Resort on that back.
Yeah.
Just crested the 20-minute mark. And this is a team at supernova levels of power. Zero Tenacity, Zero cares as they're going to zone a quarter off. Doesn't have the unbreakable will at the moment, so he's just going to get walked down. Shift tries to do the damage, flashes over the top, but he's going to walk right into the dredged line. Harpoon, it looked like they were trying to set up specifically for the Zeri. Blue Resort is just going to put an end to this little farce.
You know what? New record. There's over 500 gold per minute in gold deficit for the side back to the game. We are 20 minutes in. Now it's 11. Now it's once again.
T1 Baron. Yep. Cozy getting zoned out. Kofta not wanting to extend this fight as Lothar is indeed towards the bottom side. They know that they can't contest for the Baron, so instead they're just going to try and fight this one out. It does mean that Kofta is the price that is paid. A little bit of a shutdown going across onto the Ezreal. But again, when they're this far ahead, like Back to the Game need to find a miracle ace.
Yeah. Do you type Wolf if you're getting Kofta over here?
I probably, honestly. One thing that might not be as worth though, is that Back to the Game have now picked up their third drake. They are at soul point. If the game can last another 5 minutes, which I'm not too sure if it can, as the engage comes through onto Blue Resort. Not quite able to find the damage. Adota is indeed looking for the back line. A corner. He's not tanky. He's not any kind of tanky.
Oh my
Blurizor
God.
goes down, but Harpoon is completely unassailed towards the side. Melonic will burn down onto Shaz. The TP coming out, or the recall rather, from Cozy as what may be the last stand for Back to the Game. Cozy needs to hold on 10 seconds until a corner comes up, 20 until the rest of the team respawn. How indeed, as he's currently stood outside of the bottom inhibitor turret, now walks in to see that turret, the inhibitor dropping down. Adote is low, may not be able to stick around long enough to see the end of the game at least, but they're just waiting for Melonic to push in this bot wave. They know that respawns are still not here yet. Now the remaining members of Back to the Game respawn. Zero Tenacity, they do not hold their nerve here. They know that the minions are going to be able to take down the tower, so they are able to abscond safely. They'll even go and take out some more camps to even further extend their already insane gold lead.
Yeah, look at the ADCs. It's 3.5k. The mid laners as well. We see almost 4th item completed for Harpoon. And we're 23 minutes in the game. That's solo kill levels of insanity, and only if you're Giga snowballing. Not very often you see something like that.
I think they're Giga snowballing, Rev. I'm not gonna lie.
Not sure. I mean, what are? Can we double check? Can we get a second opinion on that? Observer, can you like nod up and down if they're Giga snowballing? Okay, so yeah, maybe
Thank you.
maybe they're Giga snowballing then. Yeah, I don't think that there's any
15K
chance. I don't think there's
Well,
any
nearly 15k up.
not very realistic chance for us Back to the Game to get back in the game. Their name will not be prophetic this time around, and Zero Tenacity will go and have their rematch tomorrow versus Big. But do we get at least any positive note for Back to the Game for getting that third place in the EPL Season 3?
Look, their lower bracket run was still solid.
Yeah.
Like, nothing can take that away from them. They've had a pretty solid tournament all round, but today, Zero Tenacity just were not having losing as an option. Harpoon does drop, however, they may have overcommitted. Blurizor also drops. Kofta now needs to get away. Should be able to with the fate sealed. As we're chatting up the end of the game, Zero Tenacity, they fumble it a little bit, of course. Gold lead still huge. They won't be too worried about it. 25 seconds until Blurizor and Harpoon respawn. There's no objectives to be taken. The waves are all right at Back to the Game's base. It's not even like they can take any turrets right now. By the way, they haven't taken any turrets, Rev.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that usually happens when you snowball the enemy team. Everything's still up and standing. However, there's still 2 inhibitors standing for the side of Back to the Game, so if they collect once or twice those shutdowns once again, I think they will have a realistic chance. It's going to be still a very tall task to ask from them, but they're still have a chance.
This is what we call Zero Tenacity's game to lose.
Yeah.
They very much could, but as you said, it's those mistakes. They're going to need to make those same mistakes a good twice, maybe 3 times more before I'm calling it an actual comeback.
I mean, if they do it, I'd say twice. We're getting 30 minutes in the game. The death timers are getting bigger and bigger. Suddenly, you have more time to go and get more towers. And if you get more towers, you suddenly get more of an influx of the gold. You complete the items. Look, Ezreal 3 items strong already. Sisyph close to 3 items strong as well. So his power level is nothing to scoff at.
No, definitely not. The next thing I'm looking towards, though, is this Drake spawning in 35 seconds' time. Back to the Game would love to pick it up. That would be an infernal soul for them. But when they can't really walk out of their base,
Yeah,
it is looking like perhaps a bit of an unrealistic expectation now. Zero Tenacity looking to walk in Blurizor. The aggression always, as they will knock on the door. It shall be opened. Of course, with waves inside the base, they can now walk back. Harpoon will leap over the wall, the dragon in their sights.
Yeah, there's a small objective bounty collected by Sisyph. That's the first out. No more clean game.
They got a tower!
No more snowball. I'm saying capping. Gold lead still 12k. You're getting an Infernal Drake, and Zero Tenacity has one job to do. They need to group up, go topside, maybe even collect the Baron, and just start the end of the game.
But if you just bait it, they don't need to take the Baron. They just need to force back to the game to come and step in, find a pick, and then pretty much run them off the rift from there. Of course, if they do start it up with the intention of actually taking it, there is the risk that Shazku is able to find a steal. I wonder if it even matters all that much, because if Shazku gets the steal and then immediately dies, there might just be enough time for Zero Tenacity to run up the, well, insert lane here and try and find a kill. Speaking of Shazku, getting dropped low, but Adote has skipped some steps. He's not very tanky. He will drop low, but he will not fall as Melodic drops the equalizer. It is a very unfairly named ability in this situation.
Yep.
2 more kills dropping, 13k in the advantage, and Zero Tenacity are done with this game. They are done with this series, Rev. They are knocking on the Nexus turret. Back to the game, need to do something huge. Shazku trying to go in, flash onto Cozy. Might be a signature pick, son, but the Fiora has not done enough this game. It will be the end. Cozy left standing, tries to find a kill to regain some honor in this game, but there is none to be found in this war. A corner is going to knock Adote onto the fountain to pick up that 1 kill. But it means nothing, Rev. Zero Tenacity close it out clean and clinical. 2-0 win.
Yep, nothing to say. Back to the game. Could not conquer the demons once again. And Zero Tenacity will get